about Montessori or the planning process or the kids?
Another important thing about Montessori is the role of the teacher. In a traditional setting, when you walk into a traditional classroom, the teacher tends to be the focus of the classroom. You see the teacher, you hear the teacher leads the lessons, the teacher does everything. In a Montessori classroom, it's completely opposite. The children lead the classroom. So when you enter a Montessori classroom, you may not notice the teacher at first, because as a teacher, you don't want to be noticeable. You don't want your presence to be noticeable. So a lot of the times, the children are running the classrooms. My job as the teacher, my very first job is not to teach them academically, it's first to observe them. I have to sit back and I have to observe my environment. And I just observe them working, their movements, and based on my observations, that's how I know what they may need next. So if I have a student that's, well, traditionally you say misbehaving. In Montessori, we call it a deviant behavior. So if we see a student that has deviated, it's my job to sit and observe that child to see what's causing this child to deviate. And my job in the classroom is to first question, is it something I'm doing, or is there something wrong in the classroom environment, which we call the prepared environment? Is there something in the environment that's causing this child to be deviated? So I have to go back, kind of readjust maybe the way I'm speaking to that child, my presence in the classroom. It may be something in the shelf, the materials on the shelves, it may be over-cluttered. It may be the layout of the desk, the tables, the chairs. I have to go back and kind of fix that problem to bring that child back on his normal path, which Maria Montessori called normalization. So my first job is to first be an observer of their environment. Just observe my students as they work.
Okay.
And then I also have to make sure that I have the environment prepared for them. The environment must be prepared, which means everything that the child needs is already in the classroom. They shouldn't have to come to me for anything. And that's a goal in a Montessori classroom, is the child to be able to do everything himself. Teach me how to do it myself. That's a big component of Montessori, is to teach me as a child to do it myself. How I know that my classroom and my students and myself, I'm on the right path, is when none of my kids need me. And that's the biggest goal in Montessori, is to have the children do things themselves without the teacher having to do anything for them. The children are 100% independent, and they're also, their spirit, that's another big thing in Montessori. They have calm, peaceful spirits about themselves. And by them having these calm and peaceful spirits, then the academic component just naturally falls in place. They grow academically once their spiritual needs have been met. And how I make sure that their spiritual needs are met, I have to observe my environment. I have to make sure that the environment is prepared for the children. And I try not to restrict them so much. We give them freedom within limits, where they have free choice, and they have a say-so in what they would like to do and what they would like to learn. But it has to be, within limits. And if they abuse those privileges, then they know that they will lose the rights. But they eventually earn the rights back. And another thing that's important to know about Montessori, traditional classrooms push a lot of extrinsic motivation. Stickers, rewards, good notes, happy faces, things like that, good job, reward certificates and things like that. Montessori, we stray away from that, because we want the students to be proud of themselves. Let it come internally rather than coming from an outsider. They have to learn how to be motivated from within. So when they may lose a contest, or if they may not get a reward, they're okay with that. You go ahead.
Because at that point, they know they've done their very best. And with that calm, peaceful spirit, it comes in that they're glad for the person who did win. There's not a lot of jealousy and backbiting and nitpicking and a lot of those types of negative behaviors that you might find in other classrooms, because of the freedom that they have and the way they've internalized doing their very best at all times. So if someone else receives an award, they're happy for that other child. It just flows naturally into this loving, peaceful community within the classroom.
Okay. Also, you guys, on last week, Ms. Hunt said that you guys don't do centers. It's called, what is it?
We call them areas, materials,
Work.
Work. That's the biggest thing Montessori. It's called work.
Right.
And we have specific areas for our work, our materials. So we have like math. We have an area for operations. Operations is like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, beyond the tens, beyond the ones place. Montessori, we call it the units place, but traditional is beyond the ones place. So those materials, a child can add, subtract, multiply, or divide at our level up to the millions place. And then we also have an area in our classroom, a math area for arithmetic with facts, practicing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division facts. We also have an area for fractions, money and time. We have another area for geometry. We have an area for squaring and cubic of numbers. And for our cultural, which is science. Traditionally it's called science, but in Montessori we call those areas cultural. We have botany, which is plant study, and zoology, which is animal study, and astronomy, space study. Am I forgetting anything? Geography. Which is earth study.
Earth sciences.
Am I forgetting anything? Anatomy.
But we put anatomy with zoology.
Yeah.
Because that's, anatomy is the study of the human body, and zoology is the study of animals. So we've put all of that together into one area now. In a more traditional Montessori classroom, the teacher would teach all 4 subjects: math, language, science, and social studies. Here we've divided it into math and science in one classroom, and social studies and English language in another classroom. So if you go to another Montessori school, you will find more likely that one teacher is teaching all subjects. So she would have an area for all of her language work, an area for all of her math work, an area for all of her social studies, and an area for all of her science. In a pre-primary class, we add in, not only do we have the cultural, the math, and the language work, but they also have practical life and sensorial. And they